Hello, my name is Jose. I'm electric power controller leader here at St. Nicholas Island, and today I'll be going over a few items I believe that are important to know about a microgrid power plant. First thing is, if there's anything I could show anybody, it would be to have proper documentation. The method of turnover or shift from an outgoing operator to ongoing is very crucial. The one thing I never miss during any preventive maintenance is to look over the previous maintenance, whether that be a PM work order or how it was annotated previously. If certain issues have been resolved or if there are new issues, I want to ensure that everything was annotated on the prospective equipment logbook, maintenance manuals. Sometimes microgrids have really old equipment, but it's still functional. But where have those manuals been? They're probably lost. And you have to find it or learn from it from somebody who knows the equipment. Now, that's something that we can't go with. So it's very important that we digitize everything as much as possible to find out data trending, evaluation of maintenance programs that were instilled, how well is the equipment being maintained, is there proper methods of informing those of real concern, and then to mitigate verbal communication, because verbal communication leaves room for error, digitizing concerns and issues, it sends a clearer message, and it leaves very little room for error or miscommunication. Those are some things that I wanted to touch upon and address as far as running a microgrid or power plant is really proper documentation.
I've worked at the power plant here in Ruby for 2.5 years. What I've learned in that time is visual inspection of the generators, keep them clean, keep the floor clean, and fix the leaks as they arise.
Hi, my name is Olumide and I work for Daystar Power. At Daystar Power, we provide businesses in Africa with clean, affordable, and uninterrupted power. The core of our field service is the operation and maintenance of our installed PV plants at client's location. And something we consider as best practice is a thorough visual inspection of all installed plant components. These thorough checks have helped us to identify defects in these components that affect plant performance and solar yield. And one thing we never miss out during our routine maintenance is the use of the right tools and cleaning materials. Finally, as field service supervisor, I'm most concerned about the general overall effect of all our maintenance activities on the plant's performance generally.
Name's Joni Sweetman. I'm the power plant operator supervisor for Alaska Village Electric Cooperative, and I have about 125 plant operators across 58 communities in remote Alaska that I oversee. And I think the longest distance between communities would be about 1,000 miles between Gamble, which is way out on the western coast of Alaska, and Yakutat, which is considered Southeast Alaska. Let's see, we have one community that is connected to a road system, and so everything else receives its supplies and materials during the barge season in the summer when there's no ice, or if it's an emergency, things get flown in. And so it requires a lot of planning to maintain 58 power plants through an entire winter.
Wow, and these are mostly diesel plants, and so a diesel generator needs a fair number of consumables and supplies. What kinds of supplies do you have to get to the communities, and how do they actually get there?
So we have a barge that will bring in a year's supply of fuel, drums of lube oil, and drums of antifreeze. And those are probably the basics of maintaining a plant. And then any building materials, like if we need new poles for distribution, those will come in on the barge. Everything else can be flown in because you wouldn't send a year's supply of filters. There is a long lead time, even with flying things in. And so we prefer to have at least a month's supply of any filters that all their engines would need on hand on the shelves.
And so for the hazmat or the heavy materials that have to go by barge, how do they get to the community? What kind of container? And then how do you let the operators know that it's arrived?
So everything, yes, so things are shipped on a barge in a shipping container, what we call a connex. And it's all planned out in the winter so that as soon as maybe starting in May, when the ice is free, the barge company will start from whether they start in Seward or Dillingham, going up to where a bulk of the communities all are. And those are mostly in northern and western Alaska. So what I see is happening is things get delivered, and then like what I've seen is a seasoned plant operator will just be aware that a barge came. He'll be interested and go down to the beach and see if there's something for ABAC. But if you're a new plant operator, you don't know that you need to keep your eyes out for anything that's showing up on the beach. So
it's really just vigilance over what arrived on the beach.
Yeah, I think I see a lot that we have gotten by in communities with just plant operators always being alert and knowing what happened last year. So that's a bonus to have seasoned plant operators, but where we have new ones, it's really hard to support them because so many things happen suddenly.
Hello, Jumle Psua. Hello from Cambodia. This is Oscar from Okra Solar. I'm standing here in a off-grid village here in Kampong Chnang province, and this is a village that we're looking to provide a DC smart microgrid to. I'll just give you a quick 360 tour here. And if I had one lesson that I've learned over the time, we're an IoT company, we collect a lot of data, but more data is not necessarily a good thing. We've really learned that we have to not just collect data, but streamline it and make it into a clear, actionable form so that the maintenance guys on the ground really know what they're doing. And if there's a problem, they get the lights back on, because that's really our core responsibility as microgrid operators, is keeping the lights on as much as humanly possible. So that's it. Enjoy the conference, guys. Cheers. Chumli plia.